So picture this. You walk into the gym and you haven't eaten a thing. No breakfast, no protein shake, not even a quick banana. For most of us, that idea alone is kind of terrifying, right? We've been told for years that it's not just a bad idea, it's dangerous. But what if that fear is based on a total misunderstanding of a really powerful, ancient signal your body is actually designed to receive? So, here's where we're headed. We're going to start by tackling those common fears head on. Then we'll hit rewind and look at the evolutionary reason our bodies are built for this stuff. After that, we'll dive into the science of the incredible fuel switch that happens inside you. And finally, we'll talk about how to see this as a powerful tool in your toolbox, not some strict rule you have to follow. All right, let's just start with that feeling, that deep-seated anxiety about working out on an empty stomach. It's a message we've all heard, from trainers, from magazines, maybe even our own doctors. And really, it all boils down to this one simple question. Are we actually putting ourselves at risk by skipping that pre-workout meal? Or are we tapping into a biological reset button that modern life has kind of made us forget all about? And those fears are so specific, aren't they? You know the ones. You'll burn through your own muscle for energy. You'll be too weak to get a good workout in. You're going to hit a wall and just crash. Or the big one, your metabolism will grind to a halt. I mean, let's be honest, we've all heard these, but is any of it actually true? These are the myths we're here to bust. Okay, so to really get why those fears might be, a little misplaced, we need to take a step back. I mean, way back. We need to look at the environment our bodies actually evolved in, which is, let's face it, dramatically different from the one we're living in today. Think about the fundamental difference here. For almost all of human history, movement came first. You had to hunt, you had to gather, you had to escape danger, and you did all that before you got to eat. Our entire biology is hardwired for demand first, then fuel. But our modern life, it's completely flipped the script. Now we fuel first, and then maybe, if we have time, we move. And this is the absolute key takeaway. When you exercise in a fasted state, you're not just burning calories. You are having a direct conversation with your hormonal control center, the system that decides whether to store energy, release it, or keep it locked away. And that conversation is one of the most powerful signals your body can possibly receive. Okay, so what's actually going on under the hood when we do this? Let's go a little deeper and look at the precise mechanisms that get triggered when we flip that ancient biological switch from storing to burning. Here's a great way to think about it. Your body is like a high-tech hybrid car. It's got two different fuel tanks. The first one is for the gas you just put in it, the food you just ate. But the second one, that's your massive reserve tank, your stored body fat. The problem is, most of us spend our entire lives just running on that first tank, constantly topping it off, never even giving our body a reason to switch over to the reserve. When you exercise fasted, you basically force that fuel switch. Here's how it goes down. First, with no food coming in, your insulin levels fall. Think of insulin as the gatekeeper to your fat stores. As it drops, the gates unlock. Then, you start moving and your muscles send out an urgent text message for energy. Since there's no fuel from food, the body turns inward and tells your fat cells to release their energy. And this isn't some panic mode. It's a perfectly coordinated, calm response. And it all starts with insulin. Let's call it the warehouse manager. When shipments of food are constantly arriving, its main job is to store everything away neatly and lock the doors to the existing inventory. But when you're fasted, well, that manager is on a coffee break and the doors to the warehouse just swing wide open. Now, I know what you're thinking. What about this stress hormone, cortisol? And yeah, it does rise, but its role here completely changes. It's not a panic hormone, it's a logistics hormone. Its job is to manage the movement of fuel from your fat stores to your muscles. It's a short, purposeful spike that, when you recover properly, actually makes your whole system more resilient. And hey, cortisol isn't working alone. There's a whole support team that shows up. Growth hormone surges to protect your muscle and tell your body to prioritize fat for fuel. Your liver starts making ketones, which are like these little reassurance molecules for your brain, telling it everything's cool and the energy is stable. And at the cellular level, your mitochondria, your tiny energy factories, they actually multiply. Your body is literally upgrading its own hardware. For decades, a lot of this was just theory, But as our scientific tools got better and better, researchers started to actually test these ideas. And what they found, it started to challenge everything we thought we knew. So to really get the science, you have to start with this one mind-blowing fact. Your muscles aren't just for moving you around, they are your #1 energy management system. They dispose of up to 80% of the glucose from your blood after you eat. So you can think of healthy, active muscles as these incredible sponges for blood sugar. So what did scientists find when they put people who trained after eating head-to-head with people who trained fasted? The results were pretty amazing. The fasted group saw a dramatic increase in fat burning, and that fear of losing muscle totally didn't happen, as long as they ate enough protein later on. But here's the big one. The fasted group saw an even greater improvement in their insulin sensitivity. And here's why. Fasted exercise powerfully activates something called AMPK. You can think of it as your body's metabolic master switch. It only flips on when energy is low, and when it does, it triggers this system-wide upgrade, improving cell repair, making you more efficient, and changing how your body uses fuel. This is a profound benefit you simply don't get when you train with a full tank of gas. So the science is really compelling, but, and this is incredibly important, this isn't some magic bullet, and it's definitely not for everyone. We have to talk about context and how to apply this responsibly. First things first, we have to reframe this in our minds. This is not about punishing your body or forcing it to do something unnatural. It's about reestablishing a natural conversation that our modern, overfed lifestyles have completely silenced. And that conversation is not appropriate for everyone. Let's be crystal clear about this. If you are underweight, if you are pregnant, if you're dealing with uncontrolled blood sugar, recovering from an illness, or have any history of disordered eating, this is not a tool for you. Your safety and health always have to come first. And look, for this to actually work, the rest of your life has to support it. This isn't about going all out, max effort every single day. It means choosing the right intensity. It absolutely will not work if you aren't prioritizing sleep, if you aren't getting enough protein and nutrients after the workout, and if you aren't managing your overall stress. Fasted training is a healthy stressor only when it's not piled on top of a mountain of other stressors. I think this really says it all perfectly. You're not trying to trick your body or fight against it. You're simply trying to remind it of a language it already knows, a language of demand and response, of challenge and adaptation, a conversation that our constant access to food has just interrupted. At the end of the day, your body doesn't speak in words. It speaks in hormones, in signals, and in patterns. And when you create the right conditions, you can finally start to hear what it's trying to tell you. So the real question is, are you listening?
Click the subscribe button to stay updated with VitalSpan Labs.